Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, one of the most difficult words in the English language: no. We're going to explore this really interesting idea that being kind doesn't mean you have to say yes all the time. In fact, setting boundaries is actually the secret to being genuinely generous.
It sounds a little backward, doesn't it? I mean, we're always taught to be helpful, to be the agreeable one. But have you ever wondered if that constant impulse to say yes to every single request actually has a hidden cost? A cost to our time, our energy, and maybe even our physical and mental health?
To really get why saying no can feel so wrong, we first have to understand why saying yes feels so right. That instinct to help people is a really powerful driver. And as it turns out, science actually backs this up. It shows that helping is deeply, deeply good for us.
And we're not just talking about feelings here. There's some hard data. A major study found that older adults who volunteered for just a couple of hours a week had a staggering 44% reduced risk of mortality. That is huge. It seems like helping others literally helps you live longer.
And it's not just about a longer life. The benefits just keep stacking up. Helping is also linked to being more physically active, feeling more positive emotions, having a greater sense of purpose. It's even linked to having fewer depressive symptoms and, get this, slower biological aging. It's pretty clear. Being good to other people is definitely good for you.
So, this brings up a really important question, right? If our bodies and our minds are basically hardwired to get all these benefits from helping, why does saying no feel like such an uphill battle? Why do so many of us feel completely overcommitted and just plain exhausted from saying yes way too often? And that brings us to what we could call the helper's dilemma. Let's really break down the psychology behind why we hesitate to say no. Because, it's often not just about being nice. There are some really deep-seated fears at play.
Yeah, research really boils it down to these four main things. We just want to be liked, right? We're scared of confrontation. We feel super guilty putting our own needs first. And for a lot of us, it's just a habit we've had our whole lives. We've been taught to be helpful, sometimes, to our own detriment.
Okay, now we're getting into some trickier territory. This is where saying no isn't just about managing your time, it's actually a form of self-protection. We have to be able to recognize that not every request is coming from a good place. Sometimes an ask is actually a manipulation tactic in disguise.
So first up, we've got a classic from social psychology, the foot in the door technique. It all starts with a tiny, super easy request that's almost impossible to say no to. But once you've said yes to that first little thing, your brain's need to be consistent makes it so much harder to say no to the bigger request they were planning all along.
Sound familiar? It'll only take 5 minutes. This little phrase is often the bait. And that 5-minute task, well, it suddenly turns into a huge commitment. But since you already agreed in principle, you feel kind of trapped.
Next is a really damaging tactic called gaslighting. This isn't just about trying to persuade you. No, this is about making you question your own sanity. The person will literally deny reality to make you feel like you're the one who's mistaken, or you're crazy, or you're overreacting.
And this is a textbook gaslighting phrase. It is a direct assault on your memory, on your perception of reality. It's designed to make you feel unstable, which makes it way easier for them to just impose their version of things and ultimately get what they want.
And then, of course, the old classic, the guilt trip. This tactic preys on your empathy, on your sense of responsibility. It basically takes your own kindness and uses it as a weapon against you, making you feel like saying no would be this incredibly selfish or cruel thing to do.
Oh, just listen to how this one completely reframes everything. Suddenly, it's not about the request anymore, is it? It's a test of your love, of your loyalty. This creates a ton of emotional pressure to just give in, just to prove you're a good person. All right, so recognizing these manipulative tactics, that's step one, that's huge. The next step is figuring out how to respond. So let's build a practical toolkit for delivering a polite, confident, and most importantly, a final no. Okay, there's this fantastic, super simple 4-step framework. First, just be direct. A clear no is so much kinder than a vague maybe. Second, give a brief reason, but don't over-explain. You don't need to write a novel. Third, if you want and if you can, offer an alternative. And finally, and this is the big one, stay firm. Don't let them wear you down.
Okay, let's see how this looks in the real world. This example, it's perfect. It's straightforward. I have too much to do. It gives a brief reason, and it even offers a helpful alternative. I can help you another time. See? It's polite, but it is definitely not an invitation to start a negotiation.
Now, this is a great one for setting a boundary based on your own comfort level. You don't owe anyone a long explanation. "I'm not comfortable" is a complete sentence. It's a totally valid reason. And by offering to help in a different way, you're still showing that you're willing to contribute.
I love this one because it's so emotionally intelligent. It leads with empathy. You're acknowledging their disappointment right up front, which can immediately de-escalate any potential conflict. But then you follow it up with a firm, non-negotiable no. You're being kind to them while still being true to yourself. And this right here, this is the real goal of all of this. Learning to say no is not about becoming selfish or unkind. It's actually the complete opposite. It's about protecting your own energy so that when you do give, your generosity can be authentic and sustainable and actually mean something.
Just look at this comparison. A yes that comes from guilt or obligation, that just leads to resentment and burnout. It drains you. But a yes that comes from a genuine, authentic desire to help, that leads to fulfillment. It actually energizes you. Setting boundaries lets you stop giving that first kind of yes, so you have room to give the second.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Saying no isn't about rejecting other people. It's about accepting your own limits. So what is one no you can say this week? Not to be less kind, but to create the space to be kind where it really, truly matters. Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.